It's your decision when to tell your employer about your pregnancy. Legally, you don't have to tell them until 26 weeks.
Being that this was the first time that I'd done this, like most people, I think it's just naturally quite a nerve-wracking experience.
As soon as I told them that I was pregnant, the whole working atmosphere changed afterwards. Just seemed very uncaring.
There are benefits if you tell your employer you're pregnant before you reach 26 weeks. If they know you're pregnant, you have the right to health and safety protection. Risk assessments and changes to the work environment should be made to minimise hazards in the workplace.
There were no health and safety assessments actually in place in the business. At least I knew what I was entitled to, and I knew that they would have to take these things into consideration.
They did a risk assessment with me, took steps to have discussions with me about my role and to ensure that I wasn't doing anything that was sort of putting me under any sort of stresses and strains.
You'll benefit from paid time off for your antenatal appointments. Unfair dismissal shouldn't be a worry. You'll be protected if you go off sick during your pregnancy.
Because I knew that I was entitled to that time and they knew that I was entitled to that time, it wasn't necessarily a case of asking, it's a case of, no, this is kind of what's happening, and when you all know where you stand on it, then it's just a given that of course you're going to go and take that time to do what you need to do.
They didn't ask me to make up my time, but only because I told them already that I was entitled to pay time off for antenatal appointments.
There are some things to consider before telling your employer that you're pregnant. Think about your relationship with your employer and how they might respond. If you consider all possible reactions, you'll feel more prepared to deal with it. It's a good idea to keep a paper trail. Notify your employer in writing as well as verbally. Keep a written record of your conversations and meetings. Before approaching your employer, go online and learn about your maternity rights at work. Speak to your union or a legal advisor, or contact Maternity Action's advice line.
I actually went to Maternity Action to read up on how to tell your employer that you're pregnant. Knowing my rights helped me to feel more confident in myself and know what I was entitled to.
The first thing that I kind of knew was that I couldn't be discriminated against on the grounds that I was pregnant, and I think just knowing that as a simple fact was, empowered me enough to feel confident that things were going to work out okay.
Make sure you're getting everything you're entitled to at work during your pregnancy. Visit the Maternity Action website for advice and resources.